Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we have a really spicy one for you. It is mono white control, and the reason we are playing this today is because we are playing some interesting cards in which mono white is accustomed to doing in playing Doorkeeper Thrall in our mono white build. And the main reason to play this is to kind of counteract Forest Convoke, slow them down a lot, or any deck that has other ETBs, which comes up in the matches that we will see in the future here. But other than that, we are just mainly a spot removal or board wiping deck that wants to get value off of flashing in Doorkeeper Thrall and having it be good, the wedding announcement to generate the value, or the restoration of Nganjo as well, and do kind of some tricks where we discard ossifications and bring it back for free, which is also that kind of uncounterable interaction. And Sarah's Paragon to kind of bring back anything underneath this. In terms of, like, say they blow up our wedding announcement or restoration Ganjo dies in combat, we can then play it again, or we can start doing kind of a Field of Ruin demolition field, kind of strip mining our opponent until they run out of basics that they can grab it, and then we constantly keep bringing these lands back whenever it gets to that point in the game. Outside of that, we have a big spicy Elish Norn in here, which actually comes up pretty relevantly. It actually blows out one of our opponents in one of our matchups, so it's very cool to see that happen. And then we got our board wipes in Farewell, Vanquish the Horde, and Sunfall. This is a quick peek at the sideboard. We have a lot more spot removal for those really aggressive, fast decks that might just help us out where Doorkeeper Thralls are bad, so it's very easy. Cut 4, bring 4 in. This is more for mono red. We have another Elish Norn in ETB's matter type situations. And then Destroy Evils, Lorens, and Temporary Lockdowns for kind of solidifying our deck plan in matchups that it matters. Outside of that, let's go ahead and hop into the games. Hope you all enjoy them. If you enjoy my content, and I have a thing in the outro talking about best of 3 content in general, please be sure to subscribe and let me know what you think in the outro, what I have to say about best of 3, and how maybe I can film it to make it a little bit more enjoyable to watch in the future. I'm so unused to playing a single color deck. When I saw 4 planes in my opener, I was like, got them all. Don't have the other color. And I was like, it's a monocolor deck. We'll keep. Are you a creature deck? My hand is... gross. Yes. It's that Boros deck. No! Fine. What? In there. This is angels, I think. Right? There's gotta be angels, right? In danger. Yes, sir. Huh? You can burn something else if you'd like. Like to make a creature.
Then die like what? We must protect the people.
What are you lightning healer thing? Nothing? Nothing at all? Oop. It could sunfall me. I should have attacked first and make sure I was going to draw a card instead of making another creature that goes into a sunfall. That's what they're planning. Weird to not see them do it with Helix, but if they have sunfall, they're not going to worry about my creatures. Stars Head In will also do it. Sometimes I just hate running into like the weird Boros decks or like random decks because I'm like, why do I have to? Why is my match one got to be against something I haven't seen before? You know, I was like ready for Sunfall and they're like Brotherhood In instead, and now I have to play against this thing. This spell costs just a 4/5. Yeah, sure. Make sure it didn't have an ETB too. So bad for me. 6 mana. I'd do ossification. Could we just bring it back? That one? This one? Land? Lane? Combat? Attack with these ones? Draw another card. Ooh. I'm ready to exile things. If they were like the traditional Boros deck, we'd be good. But they're not. I won't discard anything. Unless I want to bring back another Doorkeeper Thrall, which I really don't. I'll decline for now. It's over. Sunfall is something we do have to worry about. Double attack. Finally set them below their starting life total. They do nothing. I don't know what that means, but they're doing nothing. This one?
I hope you're ready to lose.
Yeah.
Let your blade be
Will not play this Sarah's Paragon. I'd much rather hold it. I think at this point I'm just going to pump as well.
Remember your training.
These ones? I'm getting hit with such a big Sunfall next turn. Or they've just been flooding. They have been flooding. Oh! They gained so much life off that! You're so smart. So if you don't know what just happened and why they gained so much life. So Duelist. I'm not committing anymore. I'm literally not showing any more information. So Duelist makes your spells have lifelink. That's pretty obvious. But this does 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Therefore, it gains 3 off of every single creature hit. I was trying to explain it, but they could see. I mean, they're allowed to do that. But we have to be able to dodge burn. Can we dodge burn? We need to be able to gain life. Knockout blow is probably best. But it's less if it targets the red creatures. Thus far, we only saw a red creature, but we also saw no other creatures, so it's a little bit weird, right? Like, what are they going to pivot into? Is Elish Norn even good? Elish Norn might be fine. What do we want? Like, this is fine, but it dies the Brotherhood in. This is, like, normally fine. Until they show me more, I don't really want to overcommit. I think these might just be better than maybe, like... Oh, we saw the big creature, right? Yeah, it's exiled. We saw this. That's a 4/5. Doorkeeper Thrall seem probably bad just in general. Until they show me more. I will bring Elish Norn in, though, to kind of double down and make a huge creature. This one, maybe? Just run it like that. I don't mind having Doorkeeper Thralls because they do have flash and they find good value. But I think doubling our ETBs or like... What? We can't keep this. They're too burn heavy on that. Okay. Oh, we're mauling down to 5. At least we're on the draw here. Knockout blow is probably the worst. We just keep 3 lands and a restoration. Restoration can find a lot of value, even though ossification is probably not necessarily the best. Ossification is also something we probably consider cutting. Here's Duelist. To find value immediately. Could play something like Destroy Evil, get rid of this, but then we play Restoration, discard a land, bring it back. A lot of things we can do. I do think I start the wedding announcement though. We got plenty of lands to play, so I'm not in a rush to go find more necessarily. Lightning Helix, Heartflame Duelist, sure. And no, not playing anything. Interesting. This one. So, something that is a little interesting that we could consider doing against other decks. Yeah, Emperor is kind of obvious. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked, but Another thing we can consider doing in the future, by the way, if we're against a deck that we might be able to basics test, is we're able to demolition field people on our upkeep. And then we can have restoration kind of get that demolition field back, right? Or is it just permanent? I might be... No, it's land too. Mana value 2 or less, yeah. Sure. No more overcommitment, so that kind of sucks for us. We don't have anything really, but we can kind of ramp here. Count as our land drop for turn. This wants to plus, but we don't have to give it that option. We could Sunfall. I could also play the... Honestly, there's Sunfall here, right? I just put them on the fact that we know they're probably playing wedding announcements, things like Wandering Emperor, Lightning Helix. We're down to 12. It's very weird because the burn doesn't really matter too much to us. Make a 1-1. What do you do? Or a 2-2, I suppose. Or have Sunfall their own. We can demo field this. We just don't have to worry about it. Sure. Make it 2-2. Fine with me. We use 2 mana. We have 4. We use 1, 2. That gives us 3, and that makes us 4. Could also do it. Though we probably should have done it on their turn, so they wouldn't have an untapped mana source here, I guess. They can now burn us again. I kind of was in the thought process of kind of doing it and then playing Elishnorn, and then when I decided that wasn't possible. Oh, they take the trade. Okay. Maybe they have like a get lost or something for this. Maybe not even a get lost. There was no hesitation. What's the card? Mana removal. Gets activated. Discard hand. This is an artifact with 3 or less mana, so they could have done that. They play a 4/5, which is fine. We just get rid of it. With 9 damage on board, do I just not do anything? I think the answer is yes. I just hold Elishnorn. It's like worst case, the worst thing I do is like I have lethal in 2 turns anyway. Elishnorn doesn't change that. You can now Brothers Head in again and gain a lot of life. Maybe grow this and it'll be good. Or Flame Duelist, sure. Bennett, okay. Looking for an answer, I think. If that's the case. And Lightning Helix? Close it in, okay. I think now I'm comfortable with them in top deck mode, just playing this. They put this card in the graveyard. They pass. This could be an Emperor, and I'm going to play around it. Doesn't seem so. A March 4/6. Ace. You discard nothing. No ETB happens. We do this for 3. If you don't know this, a lot of cases actually are enter the battlefield triggers. In this case, enters the battlefield. It doesn't work like a normal saga, in which like they enter the battlefield and then they tick up. Therefore, like a card like Elishnorn weirdly shuts off these new versions of cases. Good game, opponent. I'm happy to see that it wasn't Convoke, even though we might be a little bit catered to beating up on Convoke. But I appreciate the cool deck. I wonder if they were playing the big Elephant Walker. I believe they do, but we just didn't happen to see it in this matchup. So moving on to the next. Man, we just can't escape these 6 land hands, huh? I mean, we did win on the Mull to 5 previously, so I'm not like thinking it's worse. Hey, look, it's the elephant we were just talking about, if our opponent was playing it or not. But I think with this, I would consider mulling. If we had like the Saga or something that we could ramp with this, then maybe. I do think we're just going to keep a hold of this though. To get rid of maybe a Doorkeeper, maybe a Paragon. This is like good if it's Boros or any type of aggro. So I kind of like keeping the board wipe in hand. Maybe it's just one of these. It's like realistically, if it is Boros and they go all out, oh, it's that deck. Okay, sick. Chat. Never mind. It's Merfolk. What? I'm gonna do this while they're tapped out. I could have get lost that, I guess. I didn't even kind of consider that. No ETBs, poggers. No, honestly, I guess realistically, I just want to get lost this. Keep doing it while they're tapped out. So ready to get. I'm so ready to get dunked on. Kind of wild. I know I didn't attack. But yeah. Hey, you sure? Merfolk. Scout, sure. This in, I guess. Pass, because now I have like a double block situation that I could technically do. Ooh, Soul Cauldron's pretty good. It comes down. Second Pilgrim. They attack, I block, they grow. I feel like I'm already down bad. I don't really have a way to get rid of all this. They put this on the stack, they counter it. They attack again, they counter it. This is an artifact, so I can't actually answer it. Yeah, I think I'm going to conceal as much information as possible here. All I know is about it to get lost and doorkeeper throws. I don't really know what else we've done. So we need these. I have no spell that can't be countered. Lockdown's probably pretty good. I mean, I know that's whatever, but lockdown would get all these. I think doorkeepers aren't bad, but they're not necessarily good either. Can come in maybe. This doesn't seem necessarily like that'd be that great. Not obviously good. Argue this is fine, but it kind of just blocks and then dies. Populate might be important enough, but I don't think so. Maybe a second Vanquish the Horde, because if they're going to go wide, they kind of have to have that one creature in play for it to be good. This is really for enchantments, so maybe I can trim back on that a little bit. Trim down on these. Maybe not looking to necessarily tap out for a March. Well, Ossification can go. Honestly, Doorkeepers can just go. It did stop a couple of things, but I don't think it was necessarily the most important stops of all time. Birds might also be slightly bad. I want to try to get Ellersnorn in. I don't think so. But it does double our ETBs that make things important, but I don't think it's that important. We'll try here. Probably just going to get bullied by Merfolk, which is wild to say the least, but it is what it is. Run into some awkward decks sometimes. We'll play first. Destroy evil, get lost. I think that's all good. You can pop the creature immediately if it comes down to that. Half land, land, pass. What do we got, opponent? You have it right away. Let's see. If it's just a 1/1, I'm probably not going to worry about it too much, I don't think. It's not right now. Rather not give them more maps. If I can help myself. I have a plains. Best draw might be just like another land, so we can kind of help ramp ourselves, and then we're able to use multiple spells. Another land, and we're gonna see the 3-drop. Well, I mean, kind of counts as 3-drop, right? Land, make them uncounterable, not something we're really into. Deep Root Pilgrim, I feel like they don't have one, but maybe they do. They attack me for 1, all good. This triggers. We bet a land, we bring said land back. We play said land. Then, do I just play a 3-4, kind of force them to do some nonsense? Maybe they remove it. I don't even know what they would remove it with. Or do I just hold up double removal spell? No, I think I'm down to play Paragon here. Just protect our life total. Maybe become the more aggressive deck. Real issue is they kind of have a full grip. They have a land drop that we know about. 7 cards. They play a different land drop though. Sure. Alright, well I see why they got rid of that. No attack and temporary lockdown to come in. And I was about to say something sus, but I won't do it. Temporary lockdown. Pick up all those. What a fantastic draw, and our opponent picks them up immediately. That makes sense. All right. Any new information other than the fact that they had 3 of those? This is kind of whatever. I mean, I just don't think Doorkeeper's good enough. Like, I don't think that's why we're playing Doorkeeper. I think we have so much removal that shouldn't be the end all be all. They'll be on the play. Sure, they get big, but we're trying to encompass all of them into a board wipe, and I think that's more important. Playing a Doorkeeper and then trying to play like a temporary lockdown to then exile it all, including our Doorkeeper, just doesn't seem that great. I think we have to maul. This hand's so bad. And this hand's much more reasonable, I think. We'll keep here. Thanks, Sunfall's to let go. It's the only card in our hand we can't cast. We have plenty of other board wipes and things that are equally as important. Schooner. Sure. Schooner is tough. I mean, holy wedding announcement, by the way. Get to destroy Evil this Schooner if they crew it up here, which is actually kind of cool. Which they will. Deciding factor is I think we have to do the Schooner because Schooner is so much harder for us to answer. If we had like a temporary lockdown, I would just answer the Sentinel and then just take the damage. Now, I could wedding announcement, but I think I need to go get a planes. So my laydown arms is good. Then I can wedding announcement. If we draw ossification, we have an uncounterable way to put an ossification into play. If we don't know, this can bring those 2 mana permanents back. Maybe they have an answer for it. Cracking this, take a look. Maybe hit me for 4, get another map. Ooh. Brutal. No creature in the yard right now. I'm surprised they keep Cauldron in play. We haven't seen everything, I don't think. So it's a little bit awkward. Do I discard a card? Absolutely not. Play here. We play the Lauren. We blow up Agatha's Soul Cauldron. One. You know what's on top, but we can actually answer that maybe in the future. It's a little tough to answer right now, but it is what it is. And then we just get rid of this as well. Now we'll have this 2-1. We'll have this Restoration flipping. This can't really do a ton. If they just play it into an empty board, I'm going to slam his wedding announcement. Whenever you explore, do something. Sure. A Disdainful Stroke. That's for our board wipe. That makes sense. Is flips. We draw. Leave Disdainful Stroke on top. You can make them shuffle it. Maybe we make them think I have a board wipe and I don't want that on top. In which we all know I don't. This could be a Spell Pierce though, so it's a little bit questionable to do this. A Spell Pierce. Sure. Nope. Pass. Make a token here. I'm looking to build a brick wall. Going to explore They get the ramp, but we both know that they don't have land. There's a pilgrim on top. Just trim. My turn? Thing got flash, right? Yeah. All right, opponent. Wedding announcement. They flash in and trying to get me to do something about it. They will not. If they flash in on instep, we remove this. We pass. I could have attacked with this, I suppose. Now we go into the stack. Get that off the board. All today. That enters. So be it. Each trigger, we make 2 2/2s. Or 2 1/1s. Next turn, our board's going to get big, and then it's going to get bigger. There's the combo piece. Untap another target permanent you control. Collect evidence. So with this and this, they can make an infinite combo. That's why they kept Cauldron in. I just don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. Like, such a weird thing to kind of, like, insist on. But we'll play last wedding announcement. We have 3 mana, so they're not going to be able to pay for it. Maybe they have the combo. I don't know. They can sack the researcher to put it into the yard. So if they had a wedding announcement, for example, or not a wedding, another cauldron, they could technically sacrifice this to make me pay to counter this. But then they can cauldron exile it, and both of these would be this. And then they can, like, tap one, untap a thing, untap a thing, untap a thing, just go back and forth and make infinite 1/1s. That they will have permanent counter spells unless we find out an uncounterable way to remove it. Make 3 more 1/1s, which then become 2/2s. And now our kind of combats are getting a little bit more threatening. There's a second one. Ugh. So next turn they have the combo. I don't think we have a choice. I think we have to draw. We have to draw. Lay down arms. I could just kiss. Oh, man. Wild draw. It also just exiles this. So they will not have the ability to do it. They could just sack it to, like, counter this. They don't? You have Cauldron. Come on now. You know better than that. Such a loose play. In there. At this point. Obviously, they have farewell. They take it down to 14. Maybe they have another one. I just can't believe they didn't sacrifice it. Now we have a march, which means we can exile this, and I can just pitch a farewell to do so. They had a chance. Didn't know the loss. I'm just gonna exile this. I don't want to play around it. I could sack 2 creatures if they'd like. I can pay twice. Then they just won't have enough blockers on the back end. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, I'm gonna talk about the deck a little bit right now. I don't know how long to make these. I've generally been doing like 2 matches in general, and I feel like that's a good time frame. But I don't know what necessarily do, because I've seen it done a couple of ways. I've seen people do like a league where they play like 5 matches and then they take the best games and they post them, but a lot of times they just take wins that they get and they post them, you know. Surprise, surprise. But I kind of like just playing a couple games and then posting them kind of however they go, whether I make a blunder or not. If it's really bad, if I play super bad, I'll actually like delete that just because it's not worth it. Like, if I play bad, we're not learning anything. So I'll like kind of delete it and I'll go find a better game. Or if I play bad, sometimes there's a game like I conceded, whatever. So if you have any advice or have any way that you might want these videos to kind of come out, please let me know. Doing best of three is a little bit weirder than best of one, because best of one, it's like just play your games, whatever you run into, and you just post them 5 to 7, 8 games. But best of three, it's a little bit weird because, like, I think the reason to play best of three is to see people's sideboard and see strategies going into it, even though it might not necessarily be the most, like, correct sideboarding choices. So you're like, oh, you should definitely bring in this because of this. But, like, getting to hear people's thought processes behind how they sideboard and why they're sideboarding certain things, I think is the most important reason to play best of three. Also, because the matches feel a little bit more like a match, not necessarily that you're like, what's the best hand you can put together? What's the best hand I can put together? Okay, we start with a 7, run it, and see how it works. But this deck's super cool, and I like it a lot. So, if last thing I'll say, so if you have any advice on how, like, you necessarily like best of three content to be made, please let me know. I currently am just kind of filming a couple matches. If they're super quick, I'll film a third one. But it's very possible I hop into a third one, and that one takes an hour and a half, and I'm just like, that's so long. But this deck's super sick. I like it a lot. My friend, I don't want to doss him. I about did, don't worry. My friend suggested it to me. He's like, I've just been enjoying playing mono white control, and whether it's best of one or best of three, I think he's kind of come over to playing best of three after I kind of talked about it, because I was like, listen, man, the games are so much more tame. Like, you can actually play the game sometimes. But the main purpose of us playing this list is the 4 Doorkeeper Thralls, the Elish Norn, plus other Elish Norn in the side. You might be like, why is this such an important thing for us? Well, it shuts down a ton of enter the battlefields. Now, Doorkeeper Thrall a little bit different than that Elish Norn, but we get to shut down Boros Convoke pretty significantly with those Doorkeeper Thralls, because the creatures don't enter and do anything. So they're 1-drop vampires, they're 1-drop humans, or they're 2-drop humans. They don't make the extra token. The Knight Errant of Eos enters the battlefield, does nothing. The Emendange Recruiter enters the battlefield and does nothing. A lot of things like that enter the battlefield and then absolutely do nothing. And then some artifacts matter when in this format, in which that they'll enter the battlefield and do nothing. Now, Leyline Binding obviously dodges Doorkeeper Thrall, but that's why we play something bigger in Elish Norn. We double our ETBs, just shut all of theirs off, let them do absolutely nothing. And we saw that actually happen with a case that had to enter the battlefield trigger. The Elish Norn said, not on my watch, you're doing nothing, don't you dare draw a card. So it was very cool. Other than that, we're just a control deck pretty much. We are pretty stacked here when it comes to, like, not Elish Norn, but board wipes. We have, like, the Get Lost. Trying to sort this is more complicated than anything I've done in my entire life. What is happening? We have all these board wipes and removal spells. The Eternal Wonder can count as board wipe because it's bottom ability. It doesn't really get rid of everything, but it is sometimes just good enough. So we have a lot of ways to control the board in terms of creatures. Blue-white control, I have to imagine, is our hardest matchup, in which we have things like these to kind of help us out in that match. And then we go to the sideboard, and we don't really have necessarily anything too special to help us there, other than maybe just bringing the Lawrence or something, or the Vindicator, and try to help us. But we're really wanting to play creature matchups, and that's our primary goal, and that's what we hope to do in the future if we play this list again. Outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to call it there. It's a little bit shorter. I'm going to try to keep it that way, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.